attacks at Israel, the court's order isn't going to stop Israel, and I don't think it's intended to stop Israel in that.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah. Hamas is using the international community. He's like already gearing up for what Israel is going to claim. Isn't that wonderful? That's cool, man. Thanks.
That particular circumstance. So really, one would hope that this also incentivizes Hamas to enter into what is really a de facto ceasefire.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. You know as well as I do that Israel has already declared that it will not comply with any orders.
Yeah, it's weird that you're fantasizing about what like is weird that you're fantasizing about what Hamas might do in this situation when Israel has openly stated they're not fucking standing down at all
To stop its military operation. So at the end of the day, what difference will this judgment make?
Well, that's true. And I haven't seen the immediate Israeli response yet to this decision, but
they kept bombing.
We can probably expect a message of defiance in terms of what the court has said today. And you're right. I don't know that this is going to have any kind of immediate impact on how Israel is carrying out the offensive in Rafah. It might be wishful thinking, but perhaps behind the scenes, this does create a kind of off-ramp for elements or constituencies within the Israeli government who are urging for a change of course. But I don't think we'll see anything along those lines in terms of the public narrative coming from Israel.
Yeah, we're still waiting for official reactions from Israel. Let's talk about South Africa for a moment. South Africa's request for a ceasefire. It was just one part of a broader lawsuit filed late last year accusing Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. What does today's ruling, what does it mean for this overarching case?
Right. So this kind of set of provisional measures requests, and this is the fourth time that South Africa has returned to the court since filing that case at the end of December last year. All of the decisions and determinations that the court makes along the way in responding to these requests for interim relief, these are without prejudice to the case on the merits. And so it will still, it's going to be years away after the case has been fully briefed and fully argued, that the court will have to decide that underlying question. Has Israel violated the Genocide Convention? Has it breached its obligations under that treaty? Those questions remain unresolved, and it wasn't for the court today to make any kind of determinations about whether what has happened in the past constitutes genocide, or necessarily even what's happening right now, whether that constitutes genocide. This is all about a risk. This is about a forward-looking risk. And so South Africa has been able to persuade the court that there is a serious, urgent risk that unless the court intervenes, something that might constitute genocide could actually take place. And that's what the court has relied upon in seeing that it's legally justified to issue these measures.
Mr. Becker, what does this ruling mean for countries that support Israel? And of course, I'm thinking of the United States here, for example, with weapons and other military aid. Are they on a slippery slope right now?
I think that was already the case since the court's order in March. And this really does put the Biden administration in a difficult position. The Biden administration had already suggested that if Israel were to proceed with the military offensive in Rafah, that this would be kind of a red line for the U.S. And we did see that at least some limited shipments of weapons were withheld.
Yeah, dude, totally. That was a real mechanism of enforcement there. America's doing its very best to stop Israel and definitely enforcing their red lines totally. Do not believe what you have seen so far. Do not listen to the conversations coming from American Congress about who they have declared the real enemy here. Seemingly, it's always anyone and everyone that dares criticize Israel. What's that about? Like, they have so much more smoke for those who say what Israel is doing is wrong than what Israel is doing. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, the ICJ can go to hell. It is long past time to stand up to these so-called international justice organizations associated with the UN. Their anti-Israel bias is overwhelming. The ICJ is ruling that Israel should stop operations that are necessary to destroy 4 battalions of Hamas fighters and terrorists who use Palestinians as human shields is ridiculous. This will and should be ignored by Israel. Am Israel high, I say. Israel has a right to defend itself. Am Israel high. Israel. Oh my God, dude. He is fucking. Yeah. Lindsay, I trust Israel more than America. Graham. The ICJ ruling doesn't have any effect besides adding another layer of diplomatic pressure. How many more layers do we need to force Israel to stop because they seem hellbent on ethnically cleansing every fucking child in the Gaza Strip at all costs? Dude, these things take time, man. You can't look at it in that way and be like, oh, dude, even more mechanisms of pressure. No, it's like, I guess I have I have the benefit of seeing this with a 10-year understanding, at least. Like, as I have covered this conflict for the past 10 years, I have never, ever seen this level of support for Palestinians ever. Okay? You're talking about something that was firmly established and wasn't even called into question ever for 75 years. It's going to take some time. Okay? You can't just like dismantle it, that level of unconditional support. It's not going to happen. This is huge. These are incredibly positive steps in the right direction.
But the U.S. seems to be taking kind of a very...
Because once again, something to consider here is that this is not just against Israel's ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign. Okay? This is against American empire as well. And that is impossible to dismantle, seemingly. Even harder to dismantle than Israel's genocidal ambitions and Israel's apartheid. That's the reason why it seems like a massive hurdle.
Equivocal position on whether what's happening in Rafah constitutes that major military operation that they objected to. I think the court's order today then puts further pressure on the Biden administration to say enough is enough. Now is the time for Israel to step back and find a different way to manage this conflict.
Michael Becker, Assistant Professor of International Human Rights Law, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and helping us analyze this story, this breaking story here, the court ordering Israel to stop its military campaign in Rafah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now let's get to the UCLA chancellor being grilled on Capitol Hill over campus protests. Now remember, at the time while this was happening, there was an impromptu encampment that was set up that was subsequently dealt with by the Los Angeles Police Department again. But our dumbass chancellors and leaders of institutes of higher learning refused to learn the lessons from prior leaders of institutes of higher learning that have gone in front of these fucking idiotic congresspersons and have gotten shellacked by especially right-wing congresspersons who are anti-Semitic themselves, that don't give a fuck about anti-Semitism and have literally defended Nazis openly time and time again, as they sit there and go, do you not care about anti-Semitism on campus, sir? In any case, really stupid, but here it is.
On the UCLA campus, tensions flare.
LAPD doing their jobs for once? What do you mean? Their job is not to fucking brutalize. Their job shouldn't be, in a theoretical democracy, to brutalize fucking peaceful campus protesters for the crimes of saying like what Israel's doing is bad and wrong, protesting against Israel's actions. It's ridiculous.
Yet again over the war in Gaza. Police clashing with pro-Palestinian protesters Thursday, moving quickly to clear a makeshift encampment, turning back hundreds of demonstrators. The occupation of the academic building only lasted hours, but followed another standoff in Washington, where UCLA's Chancellor Gene Block faced tough questions on Capitol Hill over the protests, seemingly unaware of what was happening at his own school.
There is no encampment, and there have been no demonstrations that are problematic.
The university later acknowledging Thursday's clash, saying there is reasonable cause to find that demonstrators' activities are disrupting campus operations. University leaders from Rutgers and Northwestern also faced criticism, mostly from Republican lawmakers, accusing them of being too soft on pro-Palestinian activists.
You decided to negotiate a sweet.
Like, why would you ever go? Do you have to go to these congressional meetings? Just don't go. I don't understand it. Just don't fucking go, dumbass. What are you doing? Every single university president that literally went prior. You're on Fraud Watch, 3-point challenge tomorrow, or you're a certified fraud. I know. We're trying. We're working. Like, it is insane to me that you watched literally 3 different fucking presidents lose their jobs. Okay? You watched 3 different presidents lose their fucking jobs. Why are you attending these meetings? You're such a fucking idiot. The Columbia University president went there, okay, and was like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to deal with these fucking disgusting freak pro-Palestinian protesters. And then she turned around. She fucking turned around and sicked the NYPD on him. A massive stain on Columbia's already fucking marred history. Relitigating. Only 2. The MIT president didn't lose their job. You're right. 2 of them lost their jobs because they weren't sufficiently Zionist. I just don't understand it. I don't.
Sweetheart deal with pro-Hamas students and professors who denied October 7th.
Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar singling out UCLA's chancellor over an attack by counter-protesters late last month on a pro-Palestinian encampment.
Why did you not immediately send the police that were standing by?
We tried.
That incident now being investigated by the University of California. UCLA's police chief already removed from his position over the situation.
But you can't deny that there were some anti-Semitic chants at UCLA campus. What was the chant? At the top of the hour that there's a 3-minute handbrake? Is that what you're going to say? Really? Is that what you're going to try? Because you're going to fail, okay? You only hear that anti-Semitic chant here at the top of the hour. If you are not subscribed, okay? For $5 or for free. We tried. From the river to the sea, gray name chatters will be free. Yeah. Gray name chatters have the capacity to be freed. Okay. JWill0921. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs. They have the capacity to be freed. Okay. All they need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime or by getting gifted a sub if they're lucky, if they're good boys and girls and MBs. Okay. Here's the 3-minute ad right now. Hasanabi forcing old heads to create new accounts to subscribe so they can link debate images. Holy shit, new meta. I love that you catch these baits, but you legit get those types of comments every minute or so from people who seem dead serious. Yeah. Yeah. Israel has no apartheid. Apartheid? What do you mean? There is no apartheid in Israel. The only apartheid is happening at the Hasanabi Hamas Abi broadcast at the top of the hour against unsubscribed chatters.
The protest movement also impacting graduation ceremonies. At Harvard, hundreds of students walking out in protest of the school's decision to bar some students who participated in pro-Palestinian encampments from graduating.
This semester, our freedom of speech and our expressions of solidarity became punishable.
And despite the quiet morning right now, we've learned these demonstrations are far from over. Demonstrators announced yesterday that they're joining colleagues of their union at UC Santa Cruz and going on strike this upcoming Tuesday. They'll also be joining student employees at UC Davis. This will be thousands of them. They say that the school violated their employer rights by using law enforcement to disperse these protesters. Hoda?
All right, Morgan Chesky for us there on the campus of UCLA. Morgan, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't.
The former.
Oh, speaking of campus protests here, before we get to the Brooklyn thing, what was I going to say? What was I going to do? There was more I wanted to talk about. As far as campus protests goes, hey, you guys remember that one guy, the UCLA counter protester that was outed by, remember the a couple things that I need to mention here. One, UCLA police chief temporarily reassigned in wake of counter protest violence. So that's something that happened. And the other thing that happened is that the man who was identified in attack on UCLA protest encampment has been arrested. Edon On, 18, was arrested Thursday and held in lieu of $30,000 in bail, according to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. CNN identified him as one of the attackers in a special report last week. Campus police said On had been seen on video assaulting encampment occupants with wooden poles. Hopefully, more arrests will come because there were more. Police said arrests came after an investigation that included interviewing victims and witnesses, reviewing security camera footage and publicly available photos from members of the public and the media. Part of the only reason why, for the record, that this kid was arrested was because he was singled out by CNN. Here, what is this?
So CNN's doing the work of the police department. They've identified a few people. I'm going to talk about one right here. This is Edon On of Beverly Hills High School. He's graduating into this month, and then he's joining the IDF. So he's getting a little bit of practice in, it looks like. So they actually talked to their mom, or his mom, and she identified him, but then
this was so funny. His mom outed him and was like, "What do you mean? It's great. That's awesome." Yeah, no, he was there, and I love that he was there beating the shit out of those like fucking weird Hamas defenders or whatever.
Later on, so I don't know. He was in Israel. He wasn't there. But then on Facebook, she posted, "This is my son." Basically, went to bully the Palestinian students in the tents at UCLA and played the song that they played to the Nakba terrorists in prison. So she was really proud of her son. Now she's saying, "No, that's not him." Now, some people have identified her. She has a Beverly Hills catering company. Not positive. I'm not positive, but this is what some people are saying. That's the happy mom. I'm pretty sure I passed this group because they had the mask on, and it was about a quarter mile from where the action was when I was leaving, and then I came back. But I didn't record them, of course, because it was me. But like, there's about 10 of them at that time. Came out, I think, 3 different vehicles. But anyways, so, but you know, I went back, and one thing I said was that there was a lot of teenagers.
My sister's 17 and 4 of her classmates are graduating and joining the IDF is insane. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Dick riding another country's military is so insane because you see them doing genocide and you're like, I need to get a piece of that myself. Yeah. I told you guys, man. I told you guys, Beverly Hills Persians are fucking operating on different playing